Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Sammy, United People's TV. It's Friday. It's Black Friday. Who's buying what? Nothing? Sometimes they're not really that. Anyway, we're going to run through the latest United news. Don't worry about that. We're going to speak about the Crystal Palace game. We're going to preview that later in the show. Quite a big article dropped by The Athletic this morning. I say big article. It's their transfer radar running through every single player, and they speak about, of course, all of the midfielders that we're linked with. Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, Baleba Gomes, a little bit on Conor Gallagher, a little bit on Adam Wharton. We're going to get to see him in action on Sunday. I'm going to run through what David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell has had to say. Also, a little conversation about Bruno, about, I don't know, who else we got? A little bit on Rashford, not too much. Hear from Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt. You'll let me know what you want to talk about in the comments, as you always do. What's everyone getting up to this weekend? Who's having fun? Who's doing what? Of course, the game, Sunday at 12 p.m. I think the game's on Sunday at 12 because Palace were playing in Europe and the game was originally a 12:30 on a Saturday but got shifted. I think that's right. Let's see who's here from the mods and the members. Animation call you saying you bought a massive dairy milk off Amazon. You got to get the essentials, man. You got to get the essentials. Good morning to you, Carl, to Maddie, all the way from Vienna. We've got Alex, we've got Josh. Good morning to all the mods. Keeping it civil as always. We've got Toby, we've got Asan, we've got Smee. We've got Lozmeister, James Wilson, Teresa, Imran, and we've got one more. We've got Rob is United. Some non-members as well. Tom Cruise. Is it the Tom Cruise? It might be. You never know. I wonder if celebrities do watch. Do you reckon celebrities watch YouTube channels, just like lurk? I reckon some of them do. I mean, some of them must, right? You have no idea. And good morning to you as well, buddy. And Gungshi. I've got nearly a full house here. Who's doing what this weekend then? Let me know, right? As a random comment, who cares about Mbappe and the Ballon d'Or? Did score 4 this week, though. It's pretty cool. Before I kick off with today's show, can I just speak about this, right? Legend, and I've been working with Legend quite a while over these last couple of nights, and I hope I continue to work with them. It is Black Friday. You can see the link that's pinned in the chat. You can click on that. Up 70% off. I'm wearing the overshirt here. I've been wearing it all week. I promise you, I don't just wear this. On here. I'm going to be leaving here. I'm going to go and see an old friend tonight somewhere else. I'm going to be wearing this. I like their clothes. They're good fits. They're decent prices. And the link's in the description. And it's also pinned to the chat if you want to get involved, as it is Black Friday. Siraj, you're saying you're going work and party. Sounds like a good day. Jonas, you're going to a Christmas dinner with the family tomorrow. Hold on. Christmas dinners. Any Americans joining in? Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's effectively Christmas in America, right? What's as big as? Was it actually bigger? I don't actually quite know. Someone saying send Manu out on loan, bring Conor Gallagher in. You know what I think about Conor Gallagher. Now, let's just all enjoy this before we get on with today's show, because it is still enjoyable. Jamie Carragher saying that Arne Slot's got a week to save his job. And he's like, I'm enjoying it, but like I said yesterday, it would very much help if United aren't putting in probably. Do you think it's an exaggeration to say that Everton performance was the worst performance under Ruben Amorim? I'm genuinely curious to know what you think on that. There's been some bad performances. You could go to the Europa League final if you wanted to sort of pull out a performance in terms of the context of the game. It certainly felt like one of the worst. But John, you're saying it's bigger than Christmas? Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Liverpool have got Leeds, Sunderland, West Ham in the next 3 games. I don't know what the order is. John, you're saying it's one of the worst? Bikeable, you're saying it's the worst in years and years. I don't know if it was. I don't know if I can. And you're saying Brentford's worst, but Siraj, you just reminded me it was against 10 bloody men for 75 minutes at Old Trafford. It really was bad. Right, let's run through some transfer news because there's some things to talk about here. Now, Christian Orozco. The 17-year-old Colombian under-17s captain, United agreed a deal for him a couple of months ago. But because, of course, he's not 18, he can't actually join Manchester United until June, officially. However, Fabrizio's reported that he is going to be coming to the UK in the next couple of days and he's going to be completing his move. So I imagine you might get... Do you remember we got the photos of Diego Leon at Carrington with Garnacho at the time, with Martinez, him in Old Trafford? I imagine you're probably going to get the same thing with Orozco. Now, in terms of anything, I was considering doing a video on this, but I don't particularly think it's enough for me to do a whole video on, so I can speak about it now. Yeah, I know there's a couple of things that still need sorted in terms of the technicals. It's not the frame rate. The frame rate is absolutely bob on. I think it's to do with the audio sync. So for some reason, there's a little tiny smidge of a difference between the mic and the video, even though everything's set. And I've actually tried offsets and I've done all this, I promise you. I've spent a lot of time doing this. It's not actually the frame rate, though. And it happens only when you go live, so it's more the fact that we're pushing live in 4K. So there's just a lot going on. But Orozco, he played for the Under-17s Colombia team at the Under-17s World Cup that's just happened. Portugal won it. And this is when Colombia got knocked out. And you can see there, they lost 2-0 to France. And Orozco got sent off at full time. I don't actually know exactly what happened. I watched the highlights, and it kind of stops before it. But France got a breakaway goal in the 94th minute. Then they got 3 red cards at the end of the game. So I think it's fair to say that Colombia, they lost their heads, and Christian Orozco got sent off. But there's not really too much of an update. I could tell you how he played in a few games before it, but there's not really too much to say. Anyway, likely next week, by the sounds of it, we'll get some photos of Orozco, maybe signing his contract. But of course, he's not going to be joining United until June. He will likely be part of the preseason squad tour, wherever, I don't know. Have they announced where preseason is next season? I'm going to presume it's back in America. Where else could it be? It could be Asia. When was the last time we did a preseason tour in Asia? Can't remember. It feels likely, or will it not be America because of the World Cup? I mean, not that the World Cup's going to be on at the same time as you're doing preseason, but I don't know, if I'm being honest. Anyway, next week we'll probably get some photos of Orozco. Did it? Siegs, you're saying you can't wait to see some of the kids come through? We need to find some gems, man. We need to nail it. Right? Dan, you're saying, do we have a preseason when it is the World Cup? So the World Cup is, what is it, like mid-June to mid-July? (11th of June to the 28th of July. No, to the 19th of July. Don't know why I said 28th. Yeah, I suppose it could be UAE and could be somewhere in the Middle East. Has any... I'm sure some clubs have done like pre-season tours over there. I've got no idea. So the season, I think I don't know why I'm closing one eye there. I think the Premier League announced that the season starts on the 22nd of August. So I imagine our pre-season is probably going to happen around about the 26th of July, maybe? Don't quite know. Or maybe around the 19th of July. It's not as if we're going to have tons of players at the bloody World Cup, are we? And if there are some that are still there in the later stages, they'll just come later to pre-season. That happens, right? Kieran, good morning to you. Can't believe you're late. But let's run through the headline of today's show. And it is going to be the headline until we sign one. Or maybe 2. The midfield overhaul is going to dominate conversations because we all know it's the club's priority. We all know we needed one in the summer. We didn't get one. Anderson, Baleba and Wharton have been the 3 names. And there's a little bit more clarity from The Athletic in terms of who exactly United are going to be going after, right? Down here, this is, so basically the transfer radar. You can check it out on The Athletic. There's like, don't look at the numbers. The numbers don't mean that it's like the 26th most likely signing that's going to happen in January. It's a list of players. So don't look into the numbers too much. But it's this bit down here, right? From Andy Naylor and Laurie Whitwell. I think Andy Naylor is the Brighton correspondent for The Athletic. Saying that Baleba remains high in United's list of midfield options, although Elliot Anderson has emerged as the primary target. Adam Wharton's also being looked at, which could impact Baleba's future, But Elliot Anderson being named there by The Athletic as the midfielder that United are prioritising. We've been speaking about this over the last couple of weeks, really. I told you that after we did the research and we looked at all three of the players, going into this season, Elliot Anderson wasn't particularly on my radar. Now, I was aware of him at Forest. I was aware that he was impressive, but it feels like, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong here, but it feels like he's massively developed this season. Maybe it's simply because he's got more spotlight because he's gone into the England setup and he's impressed there under Thomas Tuchel. You can look into it however you want. But from looking at all the data and the eye test as well, Elliot Anderson, quite easily, I think, leading the way this season. I suppose with Baleba's downturn in form, it's not that difficult. Adam Wharton, well, we've played Forest and we saw how good Anderson was. We've played Brighton and we saw how poor Baleba was, if we're being completely honest. I think 4 out of 12 games in the Premier League has been taken off at half-time now. We're kind of past the point where we're saying, he's just, he's not quite fit, he's not quite ready, which is what it felt like towards the start. And like Baleba's form is just like, it's bad. And I imagine it's changing the opinions of Brighton. I don't know why there would be a Brighton fan watching. But if there's a Brighton fan watching, what's your take on Baleba this season now? Because I imagine if you asked any Brighton fan during the summer, sod that, don't want to sell Baleba, one of the best, we're keeping him. The conversation has shifted now. And it's also a little bit of a, I know, and I very much know this is Captain Hindsight saying this. When it comes to selling players, sometimes it really is the best thing to do to sell them at their peak. Now, I don't think that, they wouldn't have got the money they wanted for Baleba in the summer, and that's why they didn't sell him. If United had come in with 100 mil plus for Baleba, they probably would have sold him. But Elliot Anderson, and I didn't know this, right? Again, it's from The Athletic. Forest are paying him over 100 grand a week. Or no, around 100 grand a week. Already. Man, Forest's wages, fair play. I did not realise that they were pumping out that much money for players. It's kind of a bit like Aston Villa. We all know that Aston Villa, 2 years ago? 96% of their turnover was on wages and all that. What do you mean we're unsustainable? What do you mean? Oh, surprise. That's why they breached PSR. That's why I had to sell players. I didn't realise he was on 100 grand a week. So that's already big wages. Let me see what you're saying down here in the chat. Do you think he's worth 100 mil after one good season? Rev, my honest take on the price of all three of these is, I think if there's one position in world football right now where it's worth spending 100 million plus on a player, it's that all-action central midfielder. And I really do feel that. So actually, in fact, I took a screenshot yesterday. Can I pull that up here? Wrong thing. Why is it always going on the wrong screen? No. Where is it? Yeah, I did. I thought I did. Right? Because we were having a conversation about this yesterday. Like, we were saying, what 100 mil plus signings have actually worked out? Right, you can look at this list here. Neymar for 200 mil. I mean, come on, that didn't work out. Mbappe for 166. I don't think PSG are going to be annoyed about that, but they lost him on a free. Coutinho. Dembele, significantly better at PSG than he was at Barca. Eden Hazard to Real Madrid for 130. That's not worked out. Isak, not worked out. Wirtz, not worked out. Bellingham, Spenny. But I think that will be considered worked out by the end of it. You get the point here, right? All these 100 mil plus players. And then you get towards the midfielders. Caicedo, that's worked out. João Felix? No, that's not worked out. Griezmann? I don't actually think there'll be too many Atletico fans in order they paid that. Enzo Fernandez? Actually, annoyingly, I think that's probably worked out. Ronaldo? Why they got Ronaldo down as 105 mil? Who signed Ronaldo for 105? It wasn't Real Madrid. Juve didn't sign him for 105 mil. Are they just have they got like add-ons? Oh, fees include potential add-ons down there. The most successful signings there, probably Declan Rice, Caicedo. Yeah, you can put Mbappe in that category. Central midfielders. The overwhelming majority of the attackers on that list. Was it Juve? Juve paid 105. They paid that much for Ronaldo. Damn. I did not realise they paid that much for him. I think the point I'm trying to make here is that 100 mil plus on that sort of all-action midfielder feels like that's where football is. I don't think Baleba's that player anymore. I don't think Wharton... Do I think Wharton's that player? Possibly. But I think Elliot Anderson is. And especially with demand. And we always had to take that into account. It's not as if United are the only team that's going to want to sign Elliot Anderson. Most of the top teams will. And he's got a contract to 2029. And he's already on 100 grand a week. And he's already in the England squad. And as you say down there, it's something that I kind of grew to accept. I don't know when. But like 50 mil, as we sort of know it when it comes to the value of transfer players over the last 5, 6, and 100 mil is the new 50 mil. But according to The Athletic, Anderson is the priority. So it's going to be very interesting to see what United do here. Because everyone's going to want to sign him. Liverpool, they're going to want to sign him in midfield. City, they're definitely going to sign a Rodri replacement this summer. And you're looking at the best sort of Premier League proven. Surely. I think so. Who else? Arsenal won't need him. Spurs won't be able to afford him. Plus, not going to join Spurs. Chelsea. You can't rule Chelsea up for signing any bloody player, even if it doesn't make sense. Let me see what you're saying down here. Johnny's saying 80 mil, but the bidding war and United tax are 100 mil plus. Yeah. Just, I don't know. I just don't think it's 80 mil. Rev, you're saying, Sam, if Brighton would take 60 for Baleba in Jan, would you say yes? Or wait until the summer? Ooh. If I was United, what do you think would be the strategy and the approach with Baleba in January? Because I think it's a really interesting conversation. We wanted him in the summer. We were willing to pay 60 mil. That was, again, go down to The Athletic. So United were trying to effectively get Baleba for the same price that Chelsea got João Pedro. Brighton said no. But after the season that's been had now, a 60 mil offer would very much get entertained, I think. If United had confidence that Baleba's form this season, this is I don't know how you... It's not about data. It's about knowing Baleba personally, I suppose. Having confidence that Baleba's form this season would get turned around at United and it's a blip. Rather than a reflection of what happens when Baleba gets kind of thrust into the spotlight and how he deals with it there. And you're talking about not touching Baleba unless he finishes the season strongly. Buying the dip. If he finishes the season strongly, he goes straight back up to that price. Like someone down there, like Veer, keeps mentioning Stiller. And I told you, he's going to be the next person we take a look at in our scouting series. United are not looking abroad for their main midfield signing. Just like next summer, presumably, we're going to be looking for our big defensive signing. Again, we're going to look towards the Prem. This is going to be a new predictable, repeatable strategy. Now, you might supplement that with another signing from abroad, like Angelo Stiller. But it's not going to be your main top signing. One's saying, how do you put a metric on form? it's not really a metric. It's more like how much belief do you have that form is temporary and class is permanent and all that jazz. Like how much of a belief do you have in Baleba's ability versus what you're seeing on the pitch now? Because like I'm trying to think of examples here off the top of my head. I can't really. But you don't always just sign players because they're absolutely at the peak of their powers at another club, and you don't always sign players at their peak in their prime. You sometimes do sign players who might not be performing at another club, but you know full well, you have complete confidence that that player in your environment, in your club, in your situation, is going to be a different player. I suppose Rashford and Barcelona. Is that a good example? Like Rashford was a ghost. Was a ghost for a long time at United. It wasn't particularly vibrant at Villa either. Did it make him a crap player? No. But in that environment, you were never going to get more out of Rashford. And now he's top of the assists table in all of Europe at Barcelona. Has he all of a sudden become a new player? No. But he's playing in an environment he wants to play in now. And he's probably putting in 10 times the effort levels as a consequence, and therefore you're getting far more output. A player who's playing badly in a certain environment doesn't mean he's going to play badly in every single environment. But they're risky. I don't know how you... there is no metric that you can measure against that. It's just your own belief. I suppose like actually having inside info, like close to his agent, speaking to the player himself, I don't quite know. Di Maria? Jeez, don't mention Di Maria. And you're saying, look, if Vavel's in the Baleba case and he trusts him, then hey, look, track records. I don't know. I don't think United are going anywhere near Elliot Anderson in January. Even if he is, and according to the Athletic, he's our priority. We know that we're not going to sign him, but I do think they might. We've already tested the waters. We've already laid the seed with Baleba. Maybe we will lay the seed with in the same way, by the way, with Forrest and Anderson. Not going in with the intention of signing him, but going in with the intention of making it clear we want to sign him. Don't know. Alex, I saw that, but I forgot to pull that into the show, actually. What's that? Nah, sod that. Can't be asked to speak about Sancho. Absolute waste of oxygen, that bloke. Someone down there saying, what's the plans for the new stadium? Bit random. This has just come out. I thought this wasn't going to happen. I swear I saw this from Rob Harris from Sky News saying, effectively, United have put down a marker of the 2035 Women's World Cup and Old Trafford hosting the final. I thought that they submitted the stadiums forward and that Wembley was the only option. Anyway, this has come out like 16 seconds ago, so I've not read this. United is pleased to be supporting Trafford Council's bid to become a host city for the Women's World Cup. Trafford announced on Friday. Maybe it's not for the final then. Boring. Okay, so they are going to be putting forward a bid to be a host city for the 2035 Women's World Cup. I don't know whether that includes a final or not, but that is based around the fact that they want the stadium done by that point. So what, 10 years' time? It feels reasonable. Mate, I'm going to be old as crap when that stadium comes out. Jeez. 10 years. 10 years, man. Damn. Anyway, I found this quite funny. Fabrizio on João Gomes and David Ornstein on João Gomes, right? João Gomes is very keen on a move to United. He's a name under consideration as an opportunity and not a priority. And that's I think you can easily categorize the midfielders that we're linked with. Priority, Anderson, Baleba, Wharton. Tier 1. Tier 2, João Gomes, Angelo Stiller, Put Conor Gallagher there if you want. Who else would you put in there? Was it Andre, if it was linked as well from Wolves? I see João Gomes as a supplementary signing. And I really don't mean that in like a condescending, horrible way. I really don't. And it's not to suggest that João Gomes would be a bad signing. But he's not going to be the marquee midfield signing that we need. And if the price is right, you could see a January move, but it's almost always going to be, well, not almost always, but it should be a sort of second-tier supplementary signing. Anyway, Fabrizio's saying he's very keen on a move. And then you got David Ornstein saying there's no truth in reports. So he's basically got his United sources, and United are sort of denying any interest. Wolves are denying any interest. Make your mind up. So, ain't nobody know what's going on with João Gomes. And then Conor Gallagher, considered an opportunity. There you go. You can add him to the list. Maybe that's how United will look at this. Again, we're sort of, what we're trying to do here, like in all these shows, we're trying to sort of piece together what could United's strategy actually be? What's possible? What's likely? And it may well be that from a January perspective, if we go to what I said there, say United want to have, and I think United do want, 2 midfield signings in the summer. We need 2. Possibly 3 if Bruno and Casemiro leave. I know that. But at least 2. If the priority one is unlikely, which it is, then how about you go for the opportunity one? And that's where probably your conversations around Gomes, if you want to, I don't particularly want to, but you can include Conor Gallagher in that conversation. Gomes, Gallagher, Stiller. You could go Buadi from Lille, but looking towards an 18-year-old midfielder to come in as an opportunity to change your midfield for the second half of a season that's already on the way. I think that's probably not the right way to go about it. John, yeah, it could well be that United don't buy in January. United won't buy in January, a bit like last January when we didn't sign Matthias Tell, even though we needed an attacker, we didn't go out and get one. We clearly won't sign a midfielder just for the sake of it. But if the strategy in the summer is to sign a marquee midfielder and another, no, I don't want to use the word supplementary, sign another midfielder who's probably more on a squad level basis, then maybe you can pull the trigger on that one in January. And maybe João Gomes does come into that conversation. What are we saying down here? Tony, you saying I think we need 3? I reckon they'll sell. They should be selling Ugarte in the summer. They definitely will sell Ugarte in the summer. So what happens if Ugarte leaves, which he should, and if Casemiro does leave, which is possible? I'm very much in the camp on Casemiro now, but where I wouldn't be surprised if he left, and I wouldn't be surprised if he stayed. I kind of feel like I'm in no man's land on Casemiro. I'd be a little bit surprised at the fact that he would take a wage cut big enough that United will give him the contract that he wants. But it's not impossible. And he may well love Manchester, and his family may love Manchester more than I realise. And they have no intention of moving anywhere else. But, yeah, I think we need 2 at least. But maybe 3. And according to The Athletic, Elliot Anderson is the priority now. So it's not about flavour of the month anymore. He's the number 1. What we're saying down here. Won't it be the same situation with Xerxes? Signing someone that's not on top of our list, then proceed to sign the marquee player that we actually need? I think the Xerxes one, I feel a little bit like it's unlucky for Xerxes what happened. Would we have signed Xerxes in the summer we did if we could have signed Šeško? No. I think Andy Mitten's already said that. I don't know whether the club actually had any intention of going properly back in for Šeško the following summer, though. I mean, we wouldn't. I suppose it would be the same situation had we signed Liam Delap instead of Šeško. We still would have been a striker ahead of Xerxes. I don't really know. And someone down there saying Casemiro he might prefer Miami to Manchester. He might. Docking me saying there's a possibility that Casemiro, Bruno, Ugarte, Mainu, and Collier all leave next summer. I mean, it's a possibility. I don't think all of those will leave, but quite a few. And look, that's a good segue because I did the video yesterday, right? Where I spoke about this idea of a squad overhaul. And I just wanted to sort of reaffirm the fact that this idea of backing Ruben Amorim this and that is like, I want the club to back themselves first. I want the vision of the club to be driving all of the decisions. I don't want us to be signing players, just tons of specialist players for particular managers and particular systems. And it does feel like I feel conflicted over the wing backs, if I'm honest. I tried to mention Nuno Mendes as an example, but it really wasn't a good example because PSG playing a flat back four, but he could obviously play. And he did play. Was it Sporting? I think he was before. He played in Portugal anyway, where I think he was a wing back there. There are certain players, but that top level one where they're so ridiculously good, cost 60, 70 million, that can play fullback and wing back. Wingback, the crap wing backs right now is such a problem for this football club. I really hope that there's no way that we sell Bruno and Mainu in the same season. Daz, you're saying I'm glad we're missing. Sheshko fans might actually realise he's a strike. I don't think we needed... I think Amorim actually said this before he got injured. That, you know, we're a better team with him in, and we are a better team with him in. Like, I was getting so frustrated, man, when the ball was going up to Xerxes against Everton and it was bouncing off his foot and it was going straight back to the opposition. Because that feeling really, really took me back to last season. It's why we got penned in our half so damn much, because we couldn't use an out ball to get up the pitch and we couldn't play out from the back with a ball and we were just stuck between them. But yeah, I spoke about the overhaul, right? And I'm seeing conversations around Bruno again this morning, and it's coming from this, right? Mark Critchley is saying, look, clubs in Europe and Saudi have been monitoring Bruno, who will enter the final year of his contract. There's not particularly anything new here. What was the release clause that got confirmed? Was it like 55? Was it 55, 65 mil? Somewhere in that region. And I saw Richie before the show start trying to, I don't know, get under my skin. Oh, Sam's going to be really annoyed. Bruno Fernandes might be leaving. And I believe I said it in the summer before the season even started, that it feels like a succession plan at this football club might see Bruno leave in the summer. Right, so you're saying it's about 56 mil pounds. Right, okay. Which is not that much. And if United get that offer, they will accept it in the summer. For Bruno, who's got 1 year left on his... Actually, I think they'll have a 1 year... Oh, yeah, there. You can see it there. An option to extend by one. I felt it last summer, and I still feel the same. I don't think there's any chance that Kobbie Mainoo is a Manchester United player next season if Bruno Fernandes still is a Manchester United player. And it's tough for me to say this, as tough as it is for me to say this, as a massive fan of Bruno Fernandes, Kobbie Mainoo is the future. Bruno Fernandes is coming to the end of his present. Again, I don't mean that in a disrespect. It's so hard to say these things and not just sound like a twat. It's because when you vocalize long-term planning, it feels like you're overlooking what you've got in the present, but like that's just not how anything works in life. You need to have an idea of where you want to be in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, the path that you're on. And I see Kobbie Mainoo as part of that. In 18 months, I don't think Bruno Fernandes will be a Manchester United player. And that's just a succession plan. Like Grizzy, you're saying, is it a bad thing? I think it's going to suck that Bruno is likely to leave Manchester United without a Premier League or a Champions League medal. Bloke deserves one, man. Really, really. He could get... I don't think there's many Fergie teams that Bruno wouldn't have been part of, wouldn't have been an asset for. That's how good he's been. and people are complaining and pointing the finger at Bruno this season. He's a captain who's doing what his manager is asking him to do to the best of his ability, which isn't the best of his ability. He's far better further forward. You were against selling Bruno for 100 mil and he's done 0 this season. I mean, 100 mil didn't come in for Bruno. What offer actually did come in? I can't actually remember. What I was against was United not signing a midfielder this summer. These things aren't really interconnected, but I would rather United have spent that money on signing a midfielder instead of a striker. But we didn't. Here we go. Are we going to get a gaming channel? I need to see you playing Dark Souls. Not play Dark Souls. If we get a gaming channel, I told you when it's going to be. I might wait and then buy a Steam machine because that looks class. And then load up some like modded PES and play old school PES. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I'd love to do that. You know how much fun that would be? Man. Anyway, random little segue here. Can you give me 2 minutes of your time? I want to tell you something. Right now, in the background, the United People's TV, we're working on a project, and we have been for a while. And it's going to be probably the most ambitious project for the whole community, for the channel that we've ever done, really. Now, we've had some of you reaching out saying, like, if you're involved in development or tech stacks or stuff like that. I want to say, if there's anybody watching, right, and you run your own agency or you work with an agency or you have experience in building web apps, then please reach out because we're currently in talks with lots of agencies and it's very much going to be paid work. We want to build something. I don't really want to explain too much in the show, but I just wanted to say it live here. If there's anybody, and I don't mean this in a condescending way, but you need to be experienced. You need to have a portfolio. You need to show me exactly what you've built and the fact that it works because it's going to be high level. So we don't really want entry level stuff. So if that's you, please reach out. sam@unitedpeoples.tv. Drop me an email because we're speaking to lots of people right now. Yeah, UPTV Gaming. Oh, it would be fun, man. I don't know how many people would actually tune in, but I'd like to do it at some point. PES was the one. Right. Shall we move on? Yeah, let's move on to this. Anybody looking forward to this game against Palace? I'm not. Even the bloody bookies have got it down as Palace's favourites, which really isn't too much of a surprise. What's your prediction? Okay, let me get the poll up here. Prediction. Can't type this morning. It's all good news. Palace win, draw, or United win? Let me know, right? If you want to take a positive into the game, I suppose. That's not really a positive. It's just circumstances. Palace played last night in the Conference League away at Strasbourg. They lost 2-1. I don't know what Strasbourg's goalkeeper was on. He was on a mad one. He was playing like some sort of central centre-back. He was outside his box constantly. Anyway, Palace decided to hit the bar twice on 2 open goals. And they lost 2-1. Palace's goal I did not like, though. Because the ball was just flung up by Adam Wharton, like 50, 60 feet in the air, up towards Mateta, and he just held everybody off. Held. Oof. Little flick of his boot. Through ball. Mitchell on the overlap. Fired it into the corner. Did Will Hughes go off injured? I didn't know whether... I knew he went off. I just didn't know whether he went off injured or not. But Palace lost 2-1, and they played on Thursday night. Like, you know how we went into this season and I know this was scraping the barrel, but we're talking about, what are the positives of losing the Europa League final and not having any bloody Champions League football or European football? Oh, you're only playing once a week. If there was going to be a game where you're going to see an advantage of that, you're going to see it in this game here. We've had a full week's rest, and Palace have had to travel and play on Thursday night, and then they're playing at 12:30 on Sunday. They will be slightly fatigued. I'm not sure how mega fatigued, but they will be fatigued in comparison to United. So if there's going to be a game where we get an advantage for not playing European football, it should be bloody this one, right? It should be this one. Now, you know what's sad is I've seen this being shared so much. I think United even did a bloody video on YouTube about it. That time 7 years ago that we won at Selhurst Park and came from 2-0 down. I mean, I had a great time. So it's good memories. But like lads, is that how crap we've been at Crystal Palace? We haven't won there in 5 years. Is that really how bad they've been? That we've got to go back to 2018 to pull up a top level memory. Last time we won there, I think, was 2020 and COVID. But it's like, that's bad, isn't it? That's really, really bad that you got to go back that far. I'm going to go read some of your comments out about this. Check the poll. Hey, look, I'm not surprised. Normally, these are landslides. Very reflective. Still 37% of you are saying United win, but 33% of you are saying Palace win, and 29% of you are saying a draw. So, this is easily the closest one that we've had on the polls here, because normally it's an absolute landslide. Very reflective of how you're all feeling as United fans right now. And it's been a bit of a wounding week, isn't it? It's been a really tough... I'll be honest, this is the lowest that I have seen the morale of fans in a long time. Even lower than Brentford is what I would say. After Brentford, I suppose that the anger was there after Brentford. And the conversations around that. But everybody's just been a proper switch off. You know what? I just can't be bothered to talk about it. I don't absorb anything to do with United right now. You're just going to put me in a bad mood. That's the mood among fans going into this game. It feels like. Oh yeah, we're going to bang out 5 Cantonars. Danny saying, how real is it that if you travel, you're more fatigued? A lot of ex-players said training was harder than playing, and we've trained more than we play. I mean, it's definitely harder if you travel and play a European game on a Thursday night, then fly back. You arrive back, presumably Thursday night, 1 in the morning? Something like that. You're back into the training ground Friday, late morning, early afternoon for a sort of a rub down and sort of like you wouldn't train on that day. And then you might have one light training session on a Saturday, maybe. And then you got the game. So Crystal Palace will not be able to have a training session between these games. Pat Denny saying, not low, Sam, just realistic, a draw. I'll run through my prediction in the preview video. It's going to go out probably around about 12 o'clock today. And can I say as well, make sure you do watch that video. We gave away 2 hospitality tickets for the game coming up against West Ham. We gave them away. And we've got another big giveaway as well for 2 hospitality tickets for the game against Bournemouth. All right. Tony saying they only went to France. Yep. I know they only went to France. I'm not saying it's going to be huge, like, you go away like deep vein thrombosis socks and stuff like that. Traveling's tiring. And they played a full European game on Thursday night. Like, don't play it down here, lads. Like, if that isn't going to be an occasion where United, therefore, look fitter, sharper, versus that, there won't be one this season. And well, they played like that against Everton after having 16 days, I suppose, international break, but still, they had plenty of time, and they showed no enthusiasm whatsoever. A6 saying, when will the Wharton video be released? Come on, mate. That got released about 3 weeks ago. Look back on the channel. It's on the homepage. Oh, you're only joking, right? My bad. Bear in mind, it's very difficult to be able to understand jokes in real time when you're reading lots of comments and speaking to other people. Right? That's all. Phil Jones said, Selhurst Park has not been... We've not won there in 5 years. Not won there in 5 years. It's not a good place to go. Glasnow's Palace will set up in the exact same setup we have. 3 at the back. Mitchell and Munoz. There's going to be loads of width there. There should be chances for United to expose those spaces in behind the fullbacks if we're clever. We'll find out. Check the poll one more time. 39% of you saying United win. I really, really hope you're right. I really, really hope you're right. Right. 2 more things before I want to finish the show. As I said earlier, you can check them out there. The overshirts are there. The link's pinned to the chat and it's in the description. Check out Legends Black Friday sale. If you want to grab some, I think the t-shirts are actually the cheapest they've ever been. I might get some more. Just saying. But today is Friday, and you know what that means. Let's finish the week on a fun note, all right? The map. Got 809 points on this map now. I'm looking forward to, at some point, being able to build this into a place where you can all, as members, visit it and then like zoom in on it all and see what pins are where. I think that'd be a cool thing. Make it like open interactive for everybody. Don't exactly know how I would do that. We'll see. But let me know where you're watching from, all right? The city and the country. The starting lineup is going to be going out at lunchtime today, Alex. Yeah, I've got to go. I've got to be straight in the car. In the car. I'm in my mum's car. Vroom vroom. Come on. OG Vine. There is no map music. There's elevator music. That work? Nah, it doesn't. No map music. Right, we've got let's get a couple on the map. We've got MUFC 93 watching from Bergen? Is it Bergen or Bergen? I'm going to go Bergen. In Norway. We've got Mikey watching from Hereford. Is that a breed of cow? Hereford? Am I making it up? I might be making it up. And I don't know. How am I going to say this one? Where'd that go? Oh, there's 2. We'll get 2 more on here. I'm feeling in a good mood today. We've got Philippe watching from Schulmagen in Sweden, which I think was pretty accurate. It wasn't. I know it wasn't. And then one more. We've got Mark watching from Casablanca in Morocco, which is cool. Fun fact about Moroccan... I think this is right. I might have been lied to when I went to... bloody hell. Where'd I go? I've completely forgotten where I went in Morocco now. Anyway. Like, is it each, like, big city, the colour of the tiles or the stones are different? Like, Casablanca, white. I've completely forgotten the main place in Morocco. Jeez. My head's gone today, people. My head's gone. Thank you, everybody. Got some of you added onto the map. That was a really, really rough week, man. Really rough week for all of us. Please win against Palace. Marrakesh. I don't know why I couldn't get Marrakesh. Thank you. Anyway, I think Marrakesh is like red. Casablanca's white. Don't know about Tangier. Random. Fun fact. Thank you all for being here all week. Trying to make it easier for everybody. I hope you do appreciate the improved quality. If there are a couple of... It's only a tiny little sync issue. It's only small. It's not ruining the show, but I'll definitely try and get that fixed for Monday. I'll be here lunchtime today with my starting 11 video. Tomorrow probably won't have a video because I don't think there's going to be much of a conversation else. There's not another conversation to be had ahead of the game at 12 o'clock on Sunday. And I'll be here straight after that game, ideally after we win. I'll be here anyway. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. Enjoy yourselves. Stay safe. I'll see you soon.